Hello everyone, this is Moses from Wilona's Cave, and this is going to be a behind the scenes video. This is going to be exclusive for a short time period for Patreon and channel members. I'll just provide the unlisted video link. I'm just going to go through this. It's going to be edited quite quickly. I'm going to show you where I work. I work just like this on this little table. This is the outside. I try to have as much natural light as possible, especially if I'm drawing and coloring. While I am, my setup here right now is to be doing a drawing for my upcoming Warhammer, you can see right here, my upcoming Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay solo playthrough that I'm going to be doing through Substack. I'll show up a video right now of the link of me announcing that I have a Substack, and I'll put the link to the Substack on the description and comment section. Anyways, I'll pause it right now. I'll show you how I set things up and go from there. Okay, so I set it up. This is 100% cotton paper, 3x3 square. That's my canvas. Here's my water pen, ceramic tray, paper towels, and while I'm drawing, if I remember, I'll put a hyperlapse of the drawing that I'm going to do for this campaign. While I'm drawing, I'll be using a 0.3, very small. I think this is the smallest lead you can get, so I can get fine detail. I go to the 0.5, but it's too thick to do this paper for my taste. But yeah, and while I'm drawing too, I'm reading up and zooming in on the Warhammer book to refresh my mind for this campaign. But yeah, so let's start drawing. Okay, I finished my drawing. Hopefully I remember to put the time-lapse video in this video, but there it is right here. So this character that I randomly rolled up, I rolled up as a human rat catcher, and what won the poll on my YouTube community post. I'll show the picture of the poll right now, the results. If it has changed too late, I let it run for 24 hours, so hopefully it didn't change. But it is about an individual or a group, but I'm gonna play it as an individual, this rat catcher. Of course, they have a small but vicious dog with them. Inherited a graveyard. I'll get more into it when we get into the Substack session 0, 1, 2, and continue that way. I might make it to where it's a 3-act series, where it's a session 0, Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, beginning, middle, end. But yeah, so this is what my drawing is. Now it's time to watercolor that. I don't want to put a hyperlapse on that right now, because I don't want to worry about hitting my camera or hitting the tripod rather. I want to be free flowing. I move when I watercolor. I even go upside down. I need to be more free flowing. So let me do the watercoloring with that. This is my by the way, this is my palette. I use watercolor pencils, Faber-Castell and Derwent. This is ink based. They're both watercolor pencils. This is ink based, and this is not ink based, this side. And I just tap my little brush, wet brush, tap the tip, and then dab. You know, it's pretty cool to paint like this because one little touch of the paper is like huge brush stroke on a big piece of paper. So I have my fan helping me dry the light wash I gave the painting. Here's what I went with. This is light wash. I really wanted a greenish purple cloud and sky, night sky. And you can see the light wash of the reds, browns, greens around the graveyard. And so you can see how this begins. And this is how it starts. And I'll probably put I'm gonna focus on shading the foreground. I don't wanna work on the chapel just yet or the tree. I wanna shade the foreground a little bit, and we'll come back to it right now. So let's get to that. So here's some more shading and a little bit more detail, not too much. Now you can see maybe in the beginning or before this video, this portion of it, you're like, ooh, Moses, ugh, I don't even know what's happening. So you can see with watercolor, that's only color or medium of color I really like to do. I used to win awards in city fairs and stuff like that, ribbons. The key is to build up from light to dark, but I haven't done this in 50 years. This is at least 15 plus years I haven't done this, so I'm reminding myself. But you never can go wrong. I have always said this. You never can go wrong with a light wash. What you saw previous or even before that, I don't even think I filmed it, where you could barely see if there's any paint. There's the test strip here. Sometimes I keep these because I want to remind myself what I did. But yeah, so you can see where it's all coming in. Nice and pretty. Shades on the edge of the pavers, or really rocks, broken boulders and stuff, whatever they use to make the pavement. But now I did the foreground. This is still not detailed yet. This is just to get the shading and rough detail in. Now I'm gonna work on the tree and the chapel. All right, well, we're gonna see how that goes. I have the fan going. Here's the tree. So you can see the tree. Let me zoom in on it. Doesn't it look nice? I think it does. A little world in the size of the palm of your hand. Isn't that cool? I mean, look at that. Just a little world. Doesn't take long. Setting up, tracing, painting, and detail, 30 to 45 minutes is what it takes to do these little tiny paintings. And I'm gonna continue to probably doing this, in all honesty, to the rest of my life. I'm really enjoying these. I don't feel burdened by having to do high detail and taking 10 hours to 15 hours per art piece. You could do everything. I mean, you see how, if I remember, maybe I could do a segment of beginning, middle, and end, but remember how it started? Didn't look much. Now you can see where the life's coming in. So now, I'm gonna forget all this until I need to do fine detail here, like this little rock that I forgot to paint. But finer detail, grasses and things like that. And I'll show you some other tools I use to help. Time to do the chapel, and I have to do the background as well here. But time to do the chapel next. All right, let's do that. Okay, I am done with the light splashes. I'm gonna show you, you could say, oh, Moses, that chapel doesn't look that great. There's a reason. One, it's far away. You can't put too much detail in it. If you do, it's gonna screw up everything. Detail is supposed to come in from these rocks and that tombstone. Then we go less detail as we look further. I'm gonna do a little bit more detail, like you see the grass here. I'm gonna do a little more detail with my, if I can get it out with holding one hand on the camera, with this fine, here, let me show you, short liner brush here. And I'll tell you what else in this little thing, my pen case, what I'm gonna be doing as well. And then I'm gonna look it over, before I go to the pens, I'm gonna look it over once more. Let's get going with that. Let me do a little more detail. All right, bye. Okay, now with the short liner brush, I got a little more detail in the foreground. I'll show you right now. So you see how you can do this? Let me zoom in. So I've added in some grass. I don't like how much green it showed up through the grass, because short liner, even though it's a small brush, it's concentrated color, but it's okay. When I started blending it, it looks a little bit better. Let me zoom out a bit. So you can see where I did the edges of the pavers. I painted the, what do you call it? The tombstones. I filled in this rock a little bit. Don't really love it that much, but remember, this is watercolor. If a lot of things are out of your control. What is it? Hayao Miyazaki once said, I believe, I may be paraphrasing, if you're trying to go for deep color and all this kind of stuff and lots of layers, pick another medium. And he's 100% right. When he's doing watercolor, which is, that's his, I'm assuming, his favorite way to color. That's what, at least how he does in his sketchbooks or his sketches. It's about transparency, transparent color. I'm supposed to see the pencil lines. If you don't want to see the pencil lines, watercolor is the wrong choice. Okay, but it looks pretty good. All right, now I'm gonna take a little break, to be honest, but then it's gonna be working on the chapel. I'm gonna look it over once more, and then I'll show you what I do with the pen. Okay, pretty cool. So far it's been about, minus my recordings, probably 25 minutes, maybe 27. All right. So now I did a little bit more detail. I'm going to be working on the tree right now. The tips of the branches started washing out. I'm going to redraw them like this. To the right, you can see right there. I'm going to work on the chapel with the pen. But you can see I did a little more detail on the shading and all that kind of stuff. So it looks a lot better, in my opinion. See up close. All right, I'm going to work on that right now. So next, and then once this is dry, which it is now, next it's time to ink. I got it ready for me. This is what I use. Let me put it down so you guys can see it better. Love it. And notice a lot of things are made in Japan, made in Germany, made in Japan, and Great Britain, the Derwent. Faber-Castell, Germany, a lot, Japan. This pack is Japanese too. So the paper's French. All right, just side notes there. So now, let me just say it now. So it's really fine point. Come on, Moses. So you can see really fine point. Okay. Never ever, unless you're trying to do that color, never use black ink when you do this. If I put black ink anywhere, even the door and the window, all you're gonna see is the black. Your eye's gonna focus to black. So this is gray, so the same color as this, the tip right here, the end. Okay, gray or brown. Brown's harder to find, but gray. And there's different shades of gray, I think, as well. But as long as it's not really dark gray or black, once you use black and you didn't mean to, black ink art is something that's different. But if you're doing this, do not use black. But in the end, you're an artist. Do whatever you like. But if you're trying to get a result without somewhere being overpowered, don't use black. All right, I'm gonna start inking now. And voila. I think it looks pretty nice. Sometimes I wish I could just draw a little bit bigger, like maybe a 5x5, but then I'll be going to a 10x10 and it's just a regular piece of paper. Because I could really get some better detail in there, but I really love that it doesn't take too long. This took about, minus recordings, it took about 45 minutes, I think. I had the stopwatch on. About 45 minutes to do this, so I can't beat that. That's more important. Time is more important to me than getting something as close to perfect as possible, which I'll never be. I'm not Mary Poppins. All right, everybody. Happy gaming. Bye.